Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use hot rollers and specifically how to use them to achieve a nice bouncy blowout look without taking the time to actually blow out your hair. Now, for those of you who've seen my other videos, you might have noticed that a few things have changed. I'll be talking about that later on in the video when I'm putting in my rollers, and I'll give you a little bit of a life update. And for those of you who are new, my name is Sophie, and I love posting about all things hair care, skincare, self-care, pretty much anything that helps me connect to my body and bring a little bit more intentionality into my life. Now, before I begin, I want to say a huge thank you to you guys. It means the world to me that you support my channel and love the videos that I make for you. And I also want to say a big thank you to Way for sponsoring this video. You guys know how much I love their products. As much as I love doing my natural wavy hairstyles, it's also really fun to switch things up sometimes, and that's when heat styling comes in. Now, some people will advise you against using any form of heat on your hair if you have wavy or curly hair, but personally, my motto is that it's your hair. You should do what you want with it, whatever makes you happy. And heat styling every now and then is not going to fully damage your hair, especially if you do safe practices. That's actually why I like hot rollers so much. They are much more gentle on your hair compared to curling irons or straighteners. It's a much softer heat, and it really won't cause the same crunchy feeling that normal heat styling products will. Now, in case you've never used these before, this is what a hot rolling kit looks like. It's typically a container that's filled with the little rollers, and this container is what heats them up. That means that each individual roller is what's hot, and that's what's styling your hair. So you can kind of think about them like a little mini curling iron, but they're not as hot as a curling iron is, so that's why it's okay to leave them on your hair for so long. To secure them on your hair, you typically either use a clip like this metal clip that just goes around the roller, or some kits will have an external clip like this that just helps secure your hair up in that clip when it's rolled up and on your head. Now, as a first step, always start by detangling your hair. That's what's gonna help give you a nice, smooth blowout look. Once your hair is detangled, this would be the time to use a heat protectant. I actually already put mine in this morning because I use my leave-in conditioner as my heat protectant. So I'm not gonna apply it again right now because it'll just make my hair kind of greasy, but definitely put that in right now before you put any heat on your hair, because that's what's gonna protect your hair from getting damaged when you do choose to heat style. So without further ado, let's begin. Now I'm gonna start with the front section of my hair right here. And I'm just gonna take that and brush it through using my detangling brush. This just helps smooth everything down. It's gonna give it a nice little blowout look. And then I grab a roller and I'm gonna bring it down towards the ends of my hair, right where my first layer would start essentially. And then as I roll the curler up towards my head, I roll the little ends around so I can tuck the tail in. Now, once it's up like this, I'm going to find one of my metal clips with the little feet pointing towards me, slide that onto the roller to secure it, and that's what keeps the roller in place. Now, this kit also has these little external clips, which is super handy, especially for the sections with layers. It just kind of helps keep all the hair contained and in there. Now, instead of doing a sped up version of this, I'm just gonna film the whole thing and talk with you guys as I do it. Curlers are definitely something that I think the more you see someone do it, the easier it is to understand sort of what's going on. And it also gives me an opportunity to chat with you guys and let you know a little bit more about my life. So let's see if I can lean back enough for this. Here we go. So again, pulling it down and then wrapping the tail around as I roll the roller in. That's the key part. That's what keeps it nice and tight and rolled in. And then again, with the little clip, feet towards the roller, slide it on there to secure. And I'm gonna put one of these external clips on it just to hold it in its place. All right, so right now we've got two up here. This is sort of like the crown part of my head. I roll them back this way. It kind of gives a nice little swoopy effect once it's down. So you can roll it any direction you want. It doesn't really matter. Different things will give you different looks. And so just think about what you would do with a curling iron. That's typically a good rule of thumb. Rolling it in, making sure those ends are nice and tucked. And again, pin to secure. And then clip, oops, to secure the outside. Perfect. Now for every other section, I'm gonna be rolling away from my face. So the equivalent of curling away from your face. Now, because I have face framing layers, I actually do this entire front section as one section. And so for that, I'm gonna bring the hair down. Like that. And so you can see the hair is nice and secure. Everything's on the roller here. And then taking these clips, putting it in, grabbing an external clip, and just clipping it on top like that. This doesn't really give that much hold, especially these ones. This is more to just keep the hair there, and it's not gonna secure it to your head like those metal clips do. Now, for those of you who have seen my other videos, you'll notice that I'm in a very different apartment, and that's because I actually moved to Michigan. So I love making these hair videos, but this is not my job. I'm actually a physicist, so I do computational space physics, and I'm in grad school right now getting my PhD. And so my advisor ended up switching schools midway through my program. He moved to University of Michigan. So rather than having to find a different advisor to work with, I decided to move with him. So I moved to Michigan about like 2 weeks ago now. And that's why I have a new apartment. So far, I am really enjoying Michigan. I love this apartment. It's a historic apartment. So this was actually a historic house that was divided up into apartments in the early 1900s. So it's like double vintage in that sense. For this, again, just rolling down the ends and twisting the ends as I curl it up towards my hair. It does mean it's a little funky. It's kind of like a studio and a half. So I have this one room, and then I have the room with the kitchen, and that's where I have my bed right now. And so if you guys have seen my shorts, you would have seen a video talking about that. Sorry, I'm trying to find one of these little clips. The one downside of these, they're so easy to lose. There we go. So pretty much like this half is done, and for the most part, they're all really secure. Sometimes they get a little loose. That's okay. As long as it's up there, you can just leave it. It's gonna do the job. And again, just making sure to always go away from my face. I just like the look of that. If you want to go for more of like a retro look, you can curl towards your face, and that will give you more of a retro curl look. So other major change you might have noticed is my hair color. I actually dyed it myself last Monday. So it's been another fun little switch. I'll make a video on that. It's gonna be an ad on TikTok actually. But I'm really excited about it, and I am obsessed with how this color turned out. This was another thing I actually used to do back in high school. I used to dye my hair dark brown. So I'm kind of going back, I guess, with the style. It's gonna be full high school dark brown hair and my curlers. So probably had to reach out to one of my high school friends. It'd be kind of funny. But yeah, that was an easy process. It was the first time I had dyed my hair at home. So that was a really big switch too. Whoops, that one did not get securely clipped. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, now hopefully you guys are enjoying the little random life updates and sort of the more casual get ready with me style of this video. It's a little different than my wave it tutorials where I'm really trying to get as much information in there as I can. This is a much simpler process. So I figured it could be a good time just to let you guys know a little bit more about like who I am as a person outside of this. Just since I do post a lot more about my like day-to-day life on other platforms, I try to keep my YouTube pretty hair specific just to make it easier and more relevant for you guys. But it does mean that you don't really know who I am as a person or what I do and how I spend my time or why I even care about making these videos. So I want to try and show a little bit more of my like actual self on here. So this is what it looks like once it's all up and all of my hair is secured. Let me try and give you a little tour of the head. You can see. So no stragglers out here. You want to make sure all your sections are nice and up. And as long as they're wrapped tightly, it's pretty secure. Like I can move my head around, do normal activities. You don't want to shake or jump your head. That will mess them up. But for the most part, it should be pretty secure. Now, part of why I'm not too worried about using heat on my hair and damaging my pattern or damaging my hair is that I really focus on the overall health of my hair every single day. And that's where focusing on hair health from the inside out really, really matters. And my two favorite products to use to do that are Ouai Scalp Serum and their Thick and Full supplements. And consistency really is key with these. They're something you want to use every day for at least 3 months to really see the full benefits. I have noticed a huge change in how my scalp just feels. And best of all, my hair is looking healthier and I'm also shedding less. Now, one thing I was concerned about with this serum was whether or not it would make my hair greasy, and I can tell you this definitely does not. I literally put this on every night. As you can see, I'm almost done with this bottle. It absorbs so easily and doesn't leave any type of residue or sticky feeling on my hair. So I'm actually able to use it every day and not just before wash days. I love how the supplements have no taste and they don't make me feel nauseous. I take it every morning, and using these two together lets you get the maximum benefits from both. I seriously cannot recommend these enough. I recommend them to my friends in real life too. So grow all the way with Ouai Scalp Serum and Thick and Full supplements. Go to theouai.com and use code Sophie Marie for 15% off your entire purchase. That is 15% off your entire order at theouai.com using code Sophie Marie. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes and it is time to take these out. I like to start with the bottom layer here just so it doesn't get super tangled once everything is out. And as you can see, you get some really nice springy little curls. You can make your life easier by putting these into their case once you take them out. That's a really good one. And one thing I like to do when taking them out is sort of twist like that, just so you're not pulling on it right when you're taking it out from the curler. Now, it's easy to get kind of scared when you see how springy these are, especially if I left this in for like a full hour, it'd be a little crazy. But don't worry, because once you brush them out, it's gonna settle down and it's gonna look really pretty, and it's gonna have a nice little smooth look. One of my favorite things about the rollers is that it really smooths as it curls. It gives such a nice look, and it's kind of like if I took the time to actually blow out my hair. But this is a lot quicker. Looking really nice. And again, I left them in for only 25 minutes, so they're definitely still a little bit warm, and that does mean my hair hasn't fully set. It's gonna come down once it starts to cool down, but that's kind of the point and what I'm going for here. But if you struggle with having your hair hold a curl and stuff like that, leave it in until they're fully cool. Sometimes they do get a little bit tangled, like this one. And in that case, just shake it a little bit and it should be able to come out. Look at that. All right, taking out the first top section one. What I like about having it go up like this is that it means that you don't get any weird part in the back. You kind of have this top layer that kind of goes over and smooths any parting in the back, which is nice since you do have that change in curl. Since you're curling away from your face, right at that center line, you're gonna have the curls going two opposite directions. So that can kind of give a weird part sometimes. And if you struggle with that, do the top layer horizontal. Let's do this one. We'll save the bangs for last. If you do have full curtain bangs, this is also a really good way to style them. You can even just use like literally just the top curler. When I had shorter bangs, that's what I used to do. And we've got the moment of truth, the little bangs. Look at that. All right, so for the front part, obviously I'm just gonna part my hair like normal. So I'm just gonna flip it up like this. And then I like to shake it out. So I'm just gonna take my hands up here and really just shake up my roots, break up those curl clumps, and really just get some big volume back in. If you want extra volume, you can use a texturizing spray here. Just put it on your roots. I'd avoid it towards my ends. And then sometimes just shaking it out like this will do enough and I don't have to brush through. But other times I do like to kind of take my fingers and just lightly go through the curls, just like this. And you can see just the amount of big bouncy volume this gives. It is incredible. Let me stand up and show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And in my opinion, it's just literally the most perfect bouncy hair you can ask for. You can flip it around. Anytime you take a step, it's gonna bounce with you. And it looks so good if you have lots of layers like I do. It just brings so much movement and so much life to your hair. And I just love how the hardest or most time-consuming part of this is literally just putting the curlers in your hair. You leave it and that's it. Now, if you want to, you can use a hairspray or something like that to set. And that's also a good idea if you're gonna be outside in lots of wind or if you're in a place with high humidity. But honestly, this holds so well for me, so I add no other products. The only product I use for this is a heat protected, and that's when I put in my leave-in conditioner before I add the rollers. Now again, the key part is wrapping the tail ends of your hair around the roller as you're rolling it up to secure it and make sure you get a really nice tight roll. Now, as always, please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them. And if there's a different type of styling technique you want to see me try, let me know in the comments.